everybody, Nick Buell here. Today's discussion is going to be on sourcing your images. This is something that comes up quite a bit, actually. People ask me both privately as well as they put some posts out in the public forums, both on AVS as well as on some Facebook groups I'm a part of. Hey, where do you find some of these images? Where do you get some good quality source images? I'm really struggling to find some things. What they're doing is what I used to do quite a bit, and I had very good success with this until probably, I don't know, 2-3 years ago. Of course, this being 2021, so I've been about 2018, 2019. Google changed their search and how they did things. I just put in Interstellar, just picked a random one that would come up. And you used to be able to put in Interstellar poster or some movie name and the poster, and you can still do this, and this still does work. You can still find some quality images out there, and this is a great way to filter it down across multiple sites and so forth. But they've really changed kind of the filtering, right? So under the tools here, you can do large, medium, icon, or any size. Well, we don't necessarily want any size. We want as big as possible, right? They used to have options out here, and maybe something that is out there. And someone, if you come up with this and you know how to do this, please share with me. You could pick a certain size that you want, for a certain file size as well as image size, and that was great. Now you just have large. Large is the biggest you can get. So I pulled these up, and historically they have been, and I'm sure they are still right now, they are in get automatically sorted by most popular or most commonly found by Google's result engine, however it works, for images. So this one, is coming from Amazon. I could click on that. It's going to come up with this over here. Go, oh, that's not a bad looking image. And you can see down here that it is, 1028 by 1500. That's probably usable. Where it's really going to get kind of difficult is with some of the words, and we can see some of that in some examples I'll do when it comes time to actually resize them. That's the next one I'm going to talk about, is the image enlargement process. I'll pick something like, maybe it'll be this one here from Amazon, or something that's a little bit less quality. Looks maybe great on your screen, but when you go to enlarge it to something else, you'll see where some of that lettering will fail. You just keep clicking along here till you find one that you like. This one, it's a little bit smaller, still has the 1500 dimension on there, but it's a little bit smaller. And if you look, there's a black border around it too, so it is counting that in there as well. And that's something you'd want to strip out most likely, unless you like having that look on the front of your frame, because otherwise that will just blend right into your borders when we get to that point. So again, you kind of click through these, figure out what you want. This one doesn't look too bad. Let's just click on it real quick, see what we get. So you click on that, it's going to come up to Time Magazine. Now you've got an image here, and you go, well, how do I get this image? You can right click and save image as. That works a lot of times to do that, save image as, and you save it as a JPEG, whatever. I can put this in here, save that away. I'll pop it up here real fast, show in folder. So ignore this other stuff. It's only 116 kilobytes. It's really small. Taking this image and enlarging it, really we're gonna have to push this pretty hard. I'm already starting to see on my side, it's just getting soft, and you're seeing some of these jaggedness to some of the letters and the diagonals and so forth, and we're not even nearly large enough. I put this in Photoshop later. It's just not nearly even big enough at that size. I mean, you got to be something like this. You can really start to see that it's just not great quality. This might look great from across the room, but again, a lot of our spaces, we get kind of up close and personal to our walls, where we might have some of these panels placed. It's just not a great source image. You're just going to have a hard time finding some of those out there. So with that said, that is one way you can still find some things. Really just got to pick and choose. Be aware, though, you're going to come across things like this, where someone took a photograph of a poster, right? This is Amazon, someone's trying to sell the poster. Is that usable? Yeah. You can transpose some things. That gets into some, next level kind of things with image editing. But you're going to basically just take this and crop it. I can't even move my mouse in a straight line here, but you're going to crop off all this in order to get to line up. And at that point, you're starting to cut off some of these words. And this side's fairly straight, but does taper in a little bit at the top. You crop off, this part kind of curls up on the right side, and then whatever. Once you crop that out, you're going to end up with this picture that's usable, maybe, minus this cut off words over on the left side. But it's not even that great. I mean, this is a really dull image compared to something like this. It's a little bit brighter and crisper, but if you look, This is a folded image. Someone took this poster and it's folded. It's more visible on this one here. It's just folded. Can that be fixed? Interstellar, I would say absolutely no. Don't do it. Don't ever try to fix this stuff when it's something as popular as what Interstellar was. There is an image out there. I'll try to get maybe some future tutorial on some image corrections and fixes and so forth. I'll pull out a Prince Purple Rain movie poster that I received as a request. It wasn't the greatest quality. It was relatively high res, but it had creases in it throughout it, and it was just something that someone really wanted done. They paid me for it, so I just spent a lot of time cleaning up that image, getting rid of all the creases. Some of it's using tools that are built into Photoshop, but even using the tools, it doesn't always work well, and so you get down to hand painting things and so forth. I can show you the before and after, but really, I would avoid that. Don't look up how to do it. I would say if someone came to me with this poster, I want this exact poster, I'd say, no, I'm not going to do it. It's just way too much work. And I've been doing this for years. So anyway, that's one place you can go. One of my favorite places to go is actually blue-ray.com. In their forums, they have, I can't remember what the breakdown is. If it's G and PG, I think. And then it's another grouping that's PG-13 and R-rated movies. And they are in their textless format. So what's textless? That would be like, here, I'll get one that's not so annoying to look at. We'll take this one again. There'd be basically no words on it, right? So it's just the photo image. Someone's gone in here and they're not just erasing. Again, there's tools you can use with something like this. There's a lot of some people will use a copy tool, which gets a little bit, I'll use the word janky. It doesn't look that great. It's really crummy, but getting around some of the stuff. When I make a text list, I'm doing things like I'm specifically selecting each individual element, even down here, each individual element, each individual letter, whatever it is, highlighting that, selecting that color range around that whole letter, getting a bunch of them together, and then using some tools that try to best guess what to fill that with. It works sometimes, but not always. It's just kind of something that's out there. So other people have done a lot of legwork on this. There's other ways to do it too, don't get me wrong. But that usually ends up with some of the best results. But again, why if somebody else has that done for you? I will put links in the description as well as our discussion about that, because right now, today being, what is today? Today is April, gosh, I don't know what today is. April 17th, 18th? I don't even know what date it is, but it's April 18th, and it's down. Their site is down right now, so hopefully it's just a temporary thing and it comes back up. But that's one place to get some of that stuff sourced. Another place that a lot of people like to go to is Movie Mania. So again, it's up here. Ignore the word phone. You can remove that and it'll come right back at some point. Phone. That's fine. Again, this is textless, so none of these have words on them. The only words are popping up are the ones where I'm highlighting my mouse over that. Like I said before, some of these sites, they don't update all the time. There are things like if I look at new, here's some new things. 21 Bridges, Raya and Last Dragon. These images have been out here for a little while. So I'm not sure what their refresh cycle is. There are some new things that do come up from time to time. And just because a movie's older doesn't mean that there's not new content for it. But again, it's, these ones up here at the top, the popular ones have been popular forever. So I see them every time I come out here. Trending, they're different depending on the day of the week, of course. New has been kind of the same for a little while, maybe a month or so at least. And then they have other collections that you can go through and you can scroll through. So if you find some of these, let's just pick, oh gosh, I don't even know. Let's pick Toy Story 4. And you click on that and you will get an image that looks great. It really does. What you're going to want to do here is find the highest resolution copy on here. And this is a caution for you. Just because you go to a website and it claims to have something at a particular resolution does not mean that that's a quality resolution. By that, I mean, it could be very, very well, already enlarged by somebody else. I've seen that a lot. There are certain movies out there that you would be really surprised are enlarged because the images that are out there are just horrible to start with. Matrix. Oh my gosh, you think that something around, technology and machines and computers and that would have some really high tech, high quality images to work with. They're not. They're almost all screen captures. A lot of screen captures out there aren't even in, 1080, high definition. There's something smaller from the DVD, or they're a really bad copy that someone took a large format copy machine and made a copy of it, years and years ago. Some of the early Harry Potter ones are surprisingly poor quality. I'm trying to think of what else. There's some other ones out there, but it just blows your mind what actually are not good quality images and what are. You will find some obscure movie out there, and it will have this amazing source image to use. But anyway, here's what I'd start with. Ignore all these other phone sizes and whatnot. The site probably, I don't use this very often, but I do use it from time to time. It might break down what the actual size is somewhere on this page, but I don't see it. I just see it pulling me to other things. So I usually just go ahead and grab the 2500 by 4000. They have that option for pretty much any of the images. So you just click on it, and it's going to resolve the host, and it automatically downloads it here in the bottom corner. So I'm going to go ahead and show in folder, and I don't know where this is put on my desktop. Okay, so this image here, I'll pull up the properties real quick just so everybody can see it. So again, it is 2500 by 4000. Hopefully that's not already enlarged by somebody else. 96 DPI bit depth. Hey, that's great. 24 bits. You kind of come down here and go, well, that's all fine and dandy, but what do I care? And you see, okay, 2.57 megabytes. So if this is a true unenlarged image, or at least one that's been done just a little bit or whatever, and you've got that file, size of 2.57 megabytes, right? So anything above about 1 megabyte is going to usually yield you success. And then you have, 2500 by 4000 starting pixel count. That's usually a really great indicator that this is going to work out. I'm going to take this image, and again, we'll get to the image enlargement. I'm going to drop it into my acoustical panel post. That's where I'm kind of working with some things. Throw it in there. I'll bring that up in that tutorial as well, kind of what we saw here and what we went with. But that's what I do is just pick that large one, that 2500. We can do that for any of these. I'll pick this random Avengers one. If I scroll down, again, it's 2500 by 4000. Again, you hope that that's legitimately that. It's not a pre-enlarged image. One thing that I'm seeing already on this one, though, just so everybody's aware, right here in the middle, if you look at that, it's a little fuzzy. That may have been the way it was intended. But I see some sharp lines around some of these other areas. I'm going, okay, this is probably an artist intent, right? To be a little bit hazy and fuzzy from this little, the sharp light reflection coming from the upper left, in the render. There's one here too, and this one looks a little more intentional, but this one just seems like the texture on the A is a little bit hazy and fuzzy. But again, seeing some of these sharp, crisp lines doesn't mean I should discount that. But that's usually an indicator, right? You want to look for things like that. There's some artifacts here. I'm seeing this light line here just to the upper left of the sharp line in the A. I don't know if you guys can see that about where my tip of my mouse is at. That's usually an indicator of something that I may want to go in there and try to fix later. Again, that may have been intentional. To me, it looks like it's either a rendering error or something else. But if you're already have an image that's manipulated, all the words are off it anyway, why not make it as perfect as possible? That's what I like to do for people, whether they ask me to or not. Sometimes I'll run it past them first. I'll say, hey, I'm looking to change this. Are you okay with that? And they're like, wow, I didn't even see that before. Yeah, please do. Another thing to do when you're looking at your source images, and I know I'm just choosing Movie Mania for now, but like this Avengers Infinity War one, if I scroll down, boy, this looks like a great image right there. If I could crop it right there, that'd be awesome. Maybe a little bit more, right? You get some more of that dark stone down below. But it's this big black void. And of course, that is the remnant of text that used to be there that is now gone. So I might actually shrink my screen just a hair. There we go. Maybe one more. 80%. I can see the whole thing. Well, I'm not sure you can see the whole thing yet. One more. All right, now you can see the whole thing for sure. It's just a big black void at the bottom. And I see a lot of times people will say, oh, I really love this poster. I really, really like this. and they go, and I say, well, I would crop it off, right about here, or maybe a little bit further down if you need to, and like, well, then it's going to mess up with my dimensions I need. What other options can I do? Because if you want to keep the dimensions the same, if you crop off a certain percentage off the bottom, then you also need to crop off the sides. Well, you got Bucky over here on the left, you got Rocket and Drax's arms hanging off over here, and Wanda's hand is right on the edge there. You could probably crop into about Tony's fingertips and cut off a chunk of the bottom. Guess it's a pop-up for me. Cut off a chunk off the bottom, and you'd probably be okay. But again, you're going to cut off some very significant elements here. You're not going to get Drax's knife. You're going to chop off half of Falcon's wing there, and maybe even get real close to Bucky's face. So I would steer away from these. Again, there are things you can do here. You absolutely can do some things. I've taken this image itself and cropped off the bottom and added more to the top, manually adding up, space or sky or something like that. Something that has a color element to it that's not just turning into a black pit is fine. It actually is pretty relatively easy to do. I'm not necessarily going to add a planet unless it seems like it needs one, but I would definitely add, continue this nebulous blue up there, add some stars and whatnot, and you can get away with quite a bit and avoid this big giant black hole at the bottom. Another source for images that I use every now and then, and I'll put a link in there too, it's a Flickr account. And a lot of people don't know about this one, and I'm sure there are others out there. I have a bunch of shortcuts for things like this. Again, you're going to see that most of these are going to be textless. What I like about this site is that I get these wide image options too, right? So you get this Bumblebee quad images, or this Bumblebee banner, right? Or even Alita. You have a wide option. Really wide banner for How to Train Your Dragon 3 here, which is great. So I just like offering some of those options up to people when they're looking for something to put on their back wall. 9 times out of 10, people want a wide image, or they want to do a triple pane image, where you've seen it before, the Millennium Falcon split into 3. That's a real popular one that people have asked me for. Something along those lines. They just want to cover a wide area with one large image that's on their back wall, kind of grab some of those significant sound energy that's coming straight off their speakers, right past your ears, bouncing off your back wall, right back at you. So they'll launch something like that, and this is a great place for it. They're not going to have everything, right? But there's a lot of choices out here. Some do have text, like Mowgli, but just all different varieties. You've got animation, Predator, and there's 41 pages of this. I don't even know what's on page 41. We'll just go to Murder on the Orient Express. I act like I know this movie. I've never seen it, but there's stuff like bad moms, right? Both with text and without text. So you have different options there for some of these things. I'm just random page 36. Again, there's not going to be everything. Oh, I just happened to hit Avengers. Imagine that. One of the most popular items for, I guess we call it a whole franchise, right? All the different Marvel movies. Captain America, Winter Soldier, whatever. They're all here. Incredibles. Actually, I think it's Incredibles 2. Lots of choices. So I'll share the links for these if I have some other ones. Some I don't share because I have an arrangement with some people for some source image work that they have, and they just say they just don't want it publicly known. If people have to stumble across it via Google search or something like that, they're totally fine with that. But again, if they're the sources for where I'm finding the images for people, I certainly don't want to screw up that relationship. So that's what I've got for everybody. Like I said, you're just looking for some images that will provide you with a good starting size. Again, this is a bit small, but you can go to different sources to try to find them. There are sources out there that do have text versions, but again, most people are finding them and sending them to me and saying, hey, can you find a better quality image of this? There is one way you can do that with Google. If you are giving, if you find an image like this one here, this interstellar one, get the right scroll bar going here. This one here that we've downloaded, right? We saved that. Show back in my folder here. Let's do extra large icons. So this one here that we had, and let's say we really like that one. We want something bigger. So you just go out to Google, and if you click on images in the upper right-hand corner, This may yield some things that people might be interested in. Let me pull up my folder. You can take that image. I'm going to slide off my screen a little bit here. You can take this image that you have already downloaded. We already decided it's only 115 kilobytes. It's pretty small. It gets pretty bad pretty quick. You can just mouse it over. Again, I'm on Google. I clicked images. It was up here in the right-hand corner. Now it says Google Images, and you can search by image. You can put some words and whatnot. I'm going to just take my one I already downloaded and drag it, drop it to the drop image here section, and it comes up with this. Now this is not very encouraging. So this tells me that even though that image that I saw before was claiming to be, I don't remember what it was, something by 1500, I went out to Amazon site to try to download it, and it shortchanged me a little bit. We'll talk about that here in just one second. But if I go to large, right, again, I don't want all sizes. Well, we do all sizes. Just do all sizes real quick. This will automatically sort what it finds as the most close image to what I've uploaded, and it will sort them by largest to smallest. So this one here is saying is the biggest image size that it has from some place called Gold Poster, and it says 3307 by 4724. Now let me click on that, because here's what you can find out. Yeah, it's not going to be in English. There you go. There's ways around that, but if you look at this is a much clearer image than what we saw before. Get rid of the translate real quick. Much clearer, and it's maybe not perfect, but it's pretty decent. That's something that if someone said, hey, this is the only image we have, I would go through here and probably make a text list and retype all this with the fonts and the logos and everything else for that person. But sounds pretty good. But let's try to find one in English here. That one's not going to be English. Nope. If you look at where they're coming from, right? This one's Italian. This is Russian. This has some Asian characters on it. I'm trying to decode these really small lettering. Italian. Twitter. Okay, let's try Twitter. Now it's gonna be another language too. So that's gonna be the kind of problem you run into. And this is a rare example. That one looks like it's actually might be in English, but it just won't finish downloading. Mexico, so it's gonna be in Spanish. Oh no. So this one, but it still isn't very good. So again, what you can do too is you can also right click on this image, and you can try to do a save image as, but I'll show you what happens a lot of times. So we'll leave it as unnamed for now, and we'll just put it right by the other one. Drop that in there, show in folder. So here's our unnamed one, and here's our Interstellar from before. So the Interstellar we try to download from Amazon by clicking on it and going to the site, 115 kilobytes. The one we try to right click right there and do it, 39 kilobytes, 39.9. So it's even smaller. It's actually worse quality, even though it's supposed to be about the same size. That's some of this problem with Google going out there and scraping these websites for this data, is that it keeps little thumbnails here, but it used to be that you could actually go here and right click on it, and it would actually let you download the full image size. I can't really do that anymore. It doesn't let me. I can click on it. It's going to go out to this website, and maybe it's out here. It's not out here on this page. See, I've got to translate again. It's on this page somewhere, but I don't know where. I don't know which part of this page it's on, or how to find it. And that's where it gets to be a little bit tricky. So you can do it though. Interstellar, there's probably a bad example. This one seems to be in all different languages. We can go back real fast, and I'll hit images again. Let me grab that Toy Story one. Actually, no, I don't have it open. Show in folder. It's not showing in folder. Hold on. It's here. There we go. Bring that up. Bring up my Google search. We'll do them side by side this time. So we'll do the Toy Story one. Drop that in there. Get rid of these guys. Make that full screen again. Now this one, it is bigger, so it takes a little bit longer. So here you go. It says Toy Story. There's this file size of what you uploaded, which is exactly what it said it was on Movie Mania. Go to all sizes, and you'll see that there are some that just vary a little bit in image size. But there are other choices here. So let's say that the one that we had wasn't great. You can try Pinterest. Pinterest gets funky with stuff, but you can try it. Again, every one of these sites does something weird with it. Again, if I try to Open the image in new tab, save image, copy image, whatever. We can do that. We can open an image new tab. And there you go. This one actually let me do it. If I would have right-clicked and done the save image as, it would have probably worked just fine. But what you notice here with this image, and we want to check our other one, what I'm noticing is there used to be text right here. You can see it in the grass. It looks like a shadow of what would be Buzz's wings, but he doesn't have his wings open, right? And then what's this over here by Woody? Woody doesn't have wings. So there's something darker in the grass here, and it's not the shadows of their legs. It's something else. So to me, that's a bad, it's got kind of a harsh line too. That is a bad copy and paste of grass. And maybe you won't notice it. The other thing is, see all these, all the film grain on, you see it really a lot on the white on Buzz, all those little dots. Now, it's not the end of the world. There are times where I will add film grain, but it's usually because I'm looking at a really low quality image and I need to do something to add detail. It can add artificial detail to it. But being an animated movie, these colors should be sharp, crisp. They're not going to be solids, obviously, right? You've got three-dimensional shadowing and so forth on it, but I do want to point that out. Now, this, when you go to print it, yeah, you will see it. But if you step back, just a couple feet, you're not going to notice, right? We're printing under fabric. It's not perfect. It's not, glossy photo paper or anything like that. But it looks pretty darn good here. But like I said, you look down here and you're like, what was there? What was in the grass there? Another thing on this poster image that we talked about too is, they've clearly expanded up this direction. There used to be something up here. Probably the Toy Story logo was up here. And they just expanded that out. And that's totally fine, right? To me, that looks okay here because it's not a black hole void. From an artistic perspective, you've got Buzz and Woody side by side, and they're looking down onto, the carnival or fair, whatever you want to call it, that's the traveling one that they're at. And you've got the sun on the horizon, right? Is it a sunset or is it a sunrise? I look at it as probably a sunrise. Maybe it's a sunset. I don't know. You can look at it either way. And the sky just expands upward, into the future, into what's coming next. Either way, whether sunset or sunrise. It doesn't matter. That's just, the vastness of what the future holds for Buzz and Woody. And it's totally cool. That's totally great. Again, this grass, I would do something different with it. I would do different edits with the grass to make it look better. But it is totally usable. Most people aren't going to see that. And that's just fine. So, again, that's something you could try. So I can go back to our Interstellar one real quick. Yeah, that's not good. So, well, that's it. I know it's been long enough. Please go ahead and ask any questions you have about this on image sources, and I'll see what I can help you with. All right, take care.